Start at the top of the mat, hands at our heart. Feeling a strong mountain pose, lifting up through the top of the head, pulling the ribs into our core, pushing our feet down through all four corners as we press our hands together. Hinging from the hips, fold into an L. We're going to take our first sun B very slowly, and we're going to speed up. Practice 3 of these. Folding forward on the exhale. Inhaling to look up, finding a monkey pose. Don't worry about getting all the way down to the mat. Bring your hands to your, keep it relaxed as you pull the heart forwards on the inhale. Folding into our exhale. Finding about the height that our shoulders are and bending our hips till we can find our chair pose. And bob our hips, maybe finding our half chair. Reaching forwards, shoulders behind the ears as you engage the hands together. Folding a little deeper. Bringing our hands to our side. Stepping, hopping, or floating back. Finding our plank pose, strong plank pose. Squeezing the mat between the hands and the feet. Let's lower down slowly, hovering an inch above the mat. Holding here, flipping the toes, pulling the heart through, finding a cobra pose. Cobra's pulling forward, lengthening the spine, leading with the heart, sliding the chin behind the ears, and then lifting from our tailbone and pushing back. Finding our downward facing dog, paddling out the feet, stepping the left foot flat, lifting that right side of the hip and the tailbone. You lift the right leg, point the toe, bring the foot between the hands, spin the back foot. Our warrior one pose, opening the heart, shoulders behind the ears, looking up at your thumbs as you squeeze the hands together. Feel how it feels to grow taller here, to keep the ribs pulled in. Finding our strength, this is a very solid pose. We are unwavering here. Let's slowly fold forwards to frame the foot. Stepping back into a plank. Squeezing the earth between the hands and the feet as we lower down. Finding our cobra. Lifting and pushing back into our downward facing dog. Really focus on rooting your weight behind the shoulders in your hands, pushing out through those fingertips as you pedal out the feet. We'll raise the left foot up, point the toe, lift, and we'll step this foot forward between the hands, finding our warrior one. Really opening through the heart as we squeeze feet and hands together. Maybe keeping the feet about hip distance apart so you can try to square the hips. They'll never be perfectly there. The shoulders and chest should be open. You should feel the back muscles firing up as you pull those ribs into the core. To use your core to strengthen the back as you lift up. Don't overdo the back bend here. Try to get height. And on the exhale, fold forwards. Slowly finding space between the motions as you lift the foot up. And slowly step back into our plank pose. Find that flat back. And lowering down with control. Chaturanga Dandasana. Make it count. See if you can not let the chest touch the mat as you flip the toes and bring your heart forwards. Maybe adding in a little up dog this time, if that's a part of your practice, to lift through the legs, that extra back bend as you slide the chin behind the ears and roll over your toes as you bring your tailbone up into our downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet, shortening the dog, bending the knees. You can walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat. Inhaling to look up. And exhaling to bow. Finding our shoulders at about the height that they're at. Bend our knees so our hips are there too. Finding our chair pose. In our chair pose, we can bring our hands to our heart. Lift the heart. We do something a little more core-worthy today. As we add the chair twist, don't let the elbow touch the knee, and use the core muscles to keep your hands at your heart and lift as high as you can, feeling the obliques kick in. And then we'll open up. Feeling the shoulders straighten as you look at the top hand, and slowly coming back to center. Don't let that elbow touch the leg. Let it cross over it and feel those muscles kick in on the side body. Let's try our other side. Exhale the right elbow to the left. Open the core and release. Down to the mat. As you look up at the top hand, try to keep a straight line between your arms as the shoulders really open up, and keep those hips sunk low. Bring our hands back to the heart. Try to keep that pressure off the leg. Feeling those side muscles kick in. Come back to center. Through. Bring our hands above us. Fold forwards. And hinge from the hips as we rise back to center. Taking a moment to catch your breath and find your power. Some salutations can be very humbling. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit. These long holds can be a little more rigorous than they seem. And we want to get to our arm balances today. So let's fold forwards. Trying a little more simple, sun salutation B. Bending the knees, find our chair. Opening the heart, deep breath in. And exhale to fold, weight to the hand. Step, float, or jump your way to downward facing dog. Lifting those fingers, pushing the mat above you. Maybe looking up at your belly button, pedaling out the feet. We'll raise the right foot out behind us, point the leg, lift, and step that foot forwards between the hands, finding our warrior one. Quickening the pace, finding that engaged pose as we fold forwards, framing the foot. That right foot comes back. We'll find our plank pose and lower down for the chaturanga, number 2. Finding our cobra and our up dog and pushing back into downward facing dog, lifting the tailbone, shortening the stance, right foot flat, left foot lifts, pointing the toe, lifting as high as you can, stepping it forwards between the hands. Finding your stability as you lift up, the knee just above the heel, squeezing the feet together. Maybe widening your stance if you need to for your balance. Finding them about hip distance apart. Shoulders behind the ears, we'll fold forwards. And step back. Finding our plank. Lowering down, chaturanga. Hovering this time an inch for an extra breath. Keeping the low chaturanga as we fold up. Find your back bend. And find your downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet. Shortening the stance. Finding your weight in your hands. Step, float, or jump yourself into chair pose. However you need to get there. We're going to bring our hands together. Squeeze them together in our chair pose. And bring our hands to our heart. Bounce our hips. Let's bring our hands above us. Squeeze them together as we straighten the legs. Lift tall. And bring our hands to our heart. We have one more sun salutation. And then we will move to our arm balances. Stick with it. Feel the energy flowing. Follow whatever your body needs in this moment. And if we're generating some energy, we're doing it together. I'm very grateful to the students who are joining in this practice with me today. Inhaling into the rising motion, monkey pose. Bending the knees, finding our chair pose. Bring the hands to the heart. Let's fold forwards. Step, float, or hop back into our downward facing dog. And we'll walk our feet back into our plank pose. Squeezing the meat between the hands and the feet. Squeezing the mat. Hovering, holding our plank. Lowering down. I feel like I need a little bit of a in between the super slow and the rather quick sun salutation beats. It's always nice to find the rhythm that your body needs in each practice. So if that's not this video, that's okay for you. Let's raise the right foot. Point the toe. Maybe bend the knee and stack the hips. Try to keep the shoulders square. As you stack those hips and release the heel to the glute. And then lift that foot back up. And step that foot forwards between the hands. Finding our warrior one. Finding the knee above the heel. Keeping those ribs knitted in. Feeling the pressure between your hands. Squeezing them above your head as you look up at your thumbs. Let's slowly bring the arms out into airplane. And this time maybe hover a moment with the chest parallel to the mat. Feeling how that opens the chest and shoulders. And bring our hands down to frame the foot. Stepping that foot back. We'll bring that right knee to tap the right elbow. Then that hip open up, squeezing the knee into the elbow, into the arm, the tricep above the elbow. And we'll push that foot back up behind us. And we'll keep those arms strong as we bring our right knee to the left elbow, finding that cross body stretch just above the elbow, bending the arm to make it shelf. Maybe you can lift the back foot, maybe not. That's fine. Find our twisted plank. Feel the arms fire up. The weight, that pressure between the leg muscle and the arm, giving yourself a weight to push off of. Finding a three-legged dog and back down to our downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet, looking up at your belly button. Right foot comes flat. Left foot lifts, point the toe, lift the leg, bend the knees, stack the hips. Heel to the glute, keep the shoulders square. Leg comes long behind us and steps forward between our arms. Rise up into our warrior one pose. Finding your stance. Squaring the hips and shoulders onto the back. Shoulders come down towards the hips and onto that muscle that's pulling your ribs into your center as you pull the arms straight. Squeeze those feet together. Slowly bring the arms out into our airplane. And we'll fold to bring the chest parallel to the mat. Hovering here for a moment as we squeeze those feet together, keeping the weight on the outside of the back foot as much as you can to pull those inwards. And then we'll bring our hands down to frame the foot. And bring that left knee to the back of the arm. And we're going to reach that out behind us, pointing the toe. We're going to bring that left knee to the left arm muscle, just like we did on the other side. And push that leg out to the left behind us. Bring the left knee to the tricep of the right arm. And make a shelf. And let yourself find a twist in the spine. If you can get it here. Maybe you can lift the back foot off the mat. That's always an option if it's within your practice. Maybe you can bring the leg out to the mat and down, twisted plank. Just feel that spine twist, however you do, and then we'll step back down into our downward facing dog. Lifting the tailbone, paddling the feet. Let's walk our feet into our chair. Lifting up in the shoulders. Bring the hands to our heart. This is the third sun salutation B. We are almost done with the standing practice. Left elbow just gently crosses the right side as you lift those shoulders up, just like you did in airplane arms, putting that just perpendicular to the mat. Our hands come back to prayer. Come back up to center. Balance the hips. One more side. Stick with it. Right elbow comes just outside the right leg. Feeling the side muscles kick in. Arms in airplane. Opening the heart. Perpendicular to the mat. Bring our hands back into prayer. Lift our heart back to center. Let's take another forward fold. Straightening those legs. Releasing our weight above us. Releasing the neck. Release the tension in the jaw. Grab the arms. Let yourself sink here as you breathe for a minute. Feeling that blood flow through your body. Swing the arms side to side. Release the hands. Hinge from the hips as we rise. Up. Let's find our long-legged stance. Prasarta Padottanasana. Hands come out into airplane and fold forwards. I'll bring my screen over here. You can walk your hands behind you and open up those wrists. Maybe bring them as far behind you as you can. Bring the hands out in front of you and walk them forward, a long-legged dog. You can walk the hands over to the right. Feel that leg open up if you can bring the hands to frame the foot. And we'll walk our hands over to the left. Try to keep the hips and legs square as you do. Frame the foot with the hands. Feel the side body release. This is always a nice release after the sun salutations. Let's put our weight into our hands and jump back into a malasana squat. However you get here is fine. In our malasana, we want our feet to be flat, our heart open, our shoulders opening those hips. You can bring the left arm around the left leg, the right arm behind the back. Find a bind as you open the heart. And use those arm muscles to pull the shoulder open. Take a deep breath into the shoulder. It should feel good as you roll it out and release. Hands back into prayer. Right elbow comes around. Add the bind. Shoulder pop feels great. It's just releasing that tension from all this work we've been doing. Deep breath into that shoulder and release our hands down to the mat in front of us. Finding it with our shoulders, pushing the elbows and arms to open the hips. As you come up onto the toes and the hands, keep our hands about chaturanga distance apart. Find your teeter-totter with your weight equally in front of your hands as behind your hands. This should be a nice little crow pose that should be pretty solid for some of you. For some of you, you'll just be finding it. But if you keep it in this tight little ball, I find that gives me a little more control. It helped me a lot when I was starting out, for sure. A lot of time was spent here. You can even do mini push-ups if you'd like to really test yourself. And when we're done with our crow, let's release. Let's come into a seated position. This is the preparation for foot behind the head. If we can cradle the foot and maybe try our telephone foot and lift that foot and bring the shoulder underneath that leg and point the toe. Find it here. Find this arm into a shelf. Left arm comes into a shelf. So you can cross the other leg on top. The core should be firing up right here. Let's put our weight into our hands. Straighten those legs. This is our Asta Vakrasana pose. Asta Vakrasana. And it works like, you can see I can release this leg and you can see how the arms are shelf and I'm squeezing the legs together and keeping the chest kind of flat to the mat. Maybe you can find yourself back into your malasana squat and we can try our other method of getting into it, which is from crow. You start from your crow pose and you release that leg, you tuck it into this ball. You can maybe have your hands on blocks to give you a little height, and then you cross the legs. It's a little more challenging. You still should go back and do those hip openers as we're developing to that. Try that telephone with the hip. See if you can get that foot over and in front. That way the shoulder is beneath the crease behind the knee. Your arm, left arm makes a shelf. Other arm comes out to the side. Try to keep it about chaturanga distance. Cross those legs, feel the core fire up. Squeeze the knees together as you lift your butt up. Finding our Asta Vakrasana. Holding here, taking any moment to get here. It looks like this. You need to see my arm. Finding any variation of it that works for you. And meeting me in a seated position at the top of the mat. Taking a moment to breathe. Maybe releasing the wrists. Let's bring our hands behind our backs, behind our cow face hands. Feel that lengthen the back of the arm as you hook the arms and hook the hands and look up, pushing your head into the back arm, forearm, releasing the hands. We'll find our other side. Taking a nice hook of the fingers, maybe using a strap if you need it, and pushing the hand back to open the heart as your head looks up. Deep breaths into that shoulder. We'll release the mind. Let's take a moment, release our hands, sit here, feel the breath. Notice the pace of your breathing, notice the fire and the warmth within you. Notice all the power that we've generated tonight. Feel this energy well up inside of you and flow through you. And take this moment to feel present and aware of everything that you have control over in this moment. And you have the ability to choose what you're going to do with it. And if you've just followed along with even a small moment of this very challenging practice today, then you have that power over self. And that's what this practice is to me, is finding that control over something in your life. Channeling this energy we've cultivated together. There is a light in me after this practice, and that light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.